Hey guys, Dan here from Your Guitar Academy and welcome back to day 4 of our 30-day beginners challenge. And hopefully you've had some success changing that E minor to C major 7 with the drum beat, okay? That's a big challenge, okay? So make sure that you're going through that and you're working with that. That's like your practice, and it will be ongoing practice. As you add more chords to this, you'll be always practicing that kind of vibe, okay? Now in today's lesson, we're gonna bring in some real groove, some proper rhythm. So up to now, the right hand's just been kind of there, but not doing very much apart from that single strum. And now we're going to bring in your first rhythm pattern. So it's a really exciting day. I'm going to take you through this really slowly so you fully understand how to work a rhythm pattern, how to make a groove. So pick up the guitar and let's get started. So if you're new to this course and you've just come through to this on YouTube, then please remember that you can head on over to the website and you'll find full write-ups for every lesson, all of the tab, all of the chord boxes, the fretboards, everything you need to absolutely smash and master every single lesson. As well as that, please do like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It massively helps us continue to provide you these free courses, and leave us a comment. If you've got questions, we will get back to you. So leave us a comment under the video and we'll speak to you there. Okay then guys, so this is a really exciting lesson because we're talking about rhythm for the first time. So we've worked on moving those fingers now in time to a drum beat. And really the next process, and something that's so important in terms of actually getting full songs together, is knowing that alongside the actual harmony, so the chords, the movement of the chords and how quickly they move, we need to add some kind of rhythm, okay? So a rhythm pattern is what we're going to be learning today. And really a rhythm pattern is simply the idea of knowing what to do with your right hand and being able to write that out or read that from a piece of paper or a spreadsheet or whatever it is, not a spreadsheet, but you know what I mean, a piece of paper or chord chart or wherever you find these rhythm patterns. And also eventually, and this is crucial, being able to listen to a song and going, ah, that's the rhythm pattern. So we're going to be teaching the real essentials here that you need to know so that you're able to eventually, over the next couple of weeks or months, be able to listen to a song and see that rhythm pattern and be able to then translate that to your right hand. So for example, you know, if I took my two chords that we've been learning, the E minor and the C major 7, and suddenly started to add a bit of groove, you know, we put that with a little bit of a drum beat as we've been doing. So if I bring up that drum track that we've been using, suddenly you can see how it can go from just a basic movement of a chord to start adding something a little bit more like this. You know, we get suddenly something that starts to sound like a song, right? So it's really important part of this. And there's a couple of key things that we need to remember. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by drawing this out for you, because there's a few really important steps that we need to take in order to really get rhythm patterns clear in our mind and then onto the guitar, okay? So the magical drawing board comes right back. I'm excited, I love using this thing. And I'm gonna draw this out, okay? So just bear with me here. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So if we just have a little look at that, okay? So what I've drawn out there is a simple bar of 4. So in the last lesson, we talked about this concept of a 4/4 bar. So basically we count to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it starts again. So we've got those numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's our bar, okay? Notice that in between that, we've got these plus symbols now, okay? And that is, instead of plus, we call it and. So this verbally out loud is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? And that is how we're going to divide our bar. What that basically means for us is that in that bar of 4 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, we can now get in 8 different notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so we can fit essentially 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 into our bar of 4. Now, you might be thinking, okay, I kind of get that, but I don't really understand what that means at this point, and that's totally understandable. Let me show you. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in some arrows. Okay, so let me just draw some lovely arrows on this. Okay, and suddenly this is going to start to make a little bit more sense. Okay, so arrows, this is our rhythm pattern. Okay, and you can see the down arrows represent when I physically go down with my strumming hand. And the up arrows represent when I come up with my strumming hand. So if you see someone playing the guitar and singing and playing a song, you'll notice that that right hand is constantly moving down and up. That's what this represents. So across my bar of 4, I'm doing down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up with my right hand, okay? And as it stands at the moment, what we can just get out of that is that without even actually physically hitting the guitar, we're going to get used to the fact that across my bar of 4, my right hand is constantly moving. So just have that there for a second. Let's just put that down for 1 second. Pick up the guitar again. And what that means is that I'm going to be going simply like this with my right hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? So it's air guitar at this point. It's all ghost notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We're not hitting anything. It's just simply the movement of my right hand, okay? So one of the first things I want you guys to do is just simply that. Pick up the guitar and just try and go like this. Count out loud like I'm doing. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just keep doing that, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to put that beat back on now at 65. No, in fact, we're going to go down. I think we'll go to 60 BPM for the purpose of this demonstration. We'll put that beat back on. Oh, not that one. This one. So, if you remember, we were counting 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? Now I want to count 1 and 2 and like that, okay? So that my right hand matches up like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Just do it with me. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay. Right. I will just slow that down again because we are going to get into that in some more detail. We're going to need it even slower. So that's our first step, is understanding that across this bar of 4, we divide it into 8. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's what your right hand is always doing, okay? That no matter how advanced you get on the guitar, if your right hand is just constantly doing that, you know. See that right hand? It never stops moving. As fast as it gets, it still continues to move. So we're developing that at this stage. You learn it well once, and everything will unlock for you going forward, okay? So it's a massive, massive thing. So there's the right hand movement. And now what we're gonna be doing is actually adding in the strums. So let's put that down, okay? So if you want to, just be kind of practicing that movement of down, up. Try and actually say out loud 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That helps hugely. You know, literally say 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and as you do it. Now what we're going to start to do is we're going to start to assign specific arrows to what we actually hit on the guitar. So I'm going to use the green to do that, okay? So we're going to say that we're going to hit the first beat and the second beat, okay? So hopefully you guys will be able to see this. I'm going to try and make it as clear as I can. But we are now where we've got the green arrows or red arrows or whatever highlighted arrows, so in this case the 1 and 2, that's where we're going to be actually hitting the strings, okay? So it's going to sound like bring, bring, 3 and 4, and bring, bring, 3 and 4, and bring, bring, 3 and 4, and like that, okay? So just bear that in mind, okay? So let's put that back down. So with that, okay, thinking on the 1 and the 2, as I say 1 and 2, and I'm going to put my E minor chord on here, I'm going to actually hit those strings. Apart from that, I just keep that right hand moving. So it'll be like this. I'll count myself in. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so I'm going to put that beat back on. It's a bit slower now. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Keep that right hand moving. Don't stop it. 1 and 2 and 3. It's very tempting to go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. But trust me, put the work in now and everything's going to be easy. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and one more time. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, excellent. So how are you finding that? Let's come back to our chord chart. And add even more to that, so our rhythm pattern. And now what I'm going to bring in is one more arrow. We're going to kind of aim to work towards a full rhythm pattern here, but you can start seeing this is a rhythm pattern. You know, that could be a part of a song. Bring, bring. You know, it's a simple one, but it could be what you need. So that's a rhythm pattern. We're going to advance it a little bit, and we're going to try and do this now. So notice that I've got the 2 and, so this and is now highlighted as well. So that one I'm now going to hit as well, okay? So I'm going to go down, down, up, 3 and 4, and bring, 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 okay? Now, this is where it gets a little bit harder because it's going to be very, very tempting to want to do this one as a down arrow. You're going to almost feel like you want to break that movement. But what you need to remember here is that by learning it so that you've already done all the beats by air strumming, that movement doesn't need to change. All you need to do is just make contact with the strings very naturally. We're just flowing with it, okay? So we're now going to do 1, 2, and in terms of where we physically hit the strings, all right? So let's practice this one. This is where it gets a little bit harder. So it'll be very interesting to see how you guys get on. So E minor, let's do it nice and slowly first. So I'll count myself in. Always good just to get that right arm moving so you get used to that movement. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So notice how, you know, I'm not changing that movement. If you just look at my right hand with the camera muted, it just looks like I'm doing exactly the same thing I've been doing all the way through this whole video. But of course now I'm actually just making contact with that 2 and. So try and keep it as loose as possible, okay? Something, like I was saying, that a lot of students do when they first try this is like this. 1, 2, and they force that downstroke, extra downstroke to try and get the sound. But remember, as soon as you feel like you've broken this movement, then you've probably done it wrong. So we just want to keep this movement nice and flowing. You can do it in front of a mirror, just so you can see that that is continuously going. And we try again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so let's do that quickly with the drum beat. A couple of times round. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2.
And 2
So that's at 50 BPM so far, okay? So please, go ahead and go over to the website and use the kind of backing tracks there. The 50 BPM one is ideal, I would think, as a good starting place with this. It's not too slow that it's really unnatural, but it's slow enough to kind of be thinking about it whilst you're doing it. And now this is the final kind of strumming pattern that we're going to be learning now, okay? So I'm just highlighting one more, okay? So we're highlighting the 4 as well. So let's just have a little look at that. 1, 2, and 4. So now we've got the 4 highlighted as well. So the strumming pattern now will sound something like bring, 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 like that, okay? So you've got, now this is the full pattern that we're going to be learning. This is what I want you to learn, this pattern. But it's so important to go through the process of getting to this pattern. We've actually kind of learned, 3 different rhythm patterns there. One with just 1, then 2, then 3, and then now we're doing the 4th one. So we've got a lot going on here. So don't worry if this is all still feeling really funky. It'll take a bit of time, but this is the pattern we're now going to learn, okay? So let's have that, and I recommend heading over to the website, because having that pattern up in front of you on the screen really helps kind of your mind kind of get onto that, essentially. So you can see it, and you're kind of counting along, and you can see the visual arrows. On the website it'll be a red arrow rather than a green one. The red just doesn't show up very well on the blackboard for whatever reason. So this will sound like this. So I'm going to put that E minor chord back on and go like this. Count myself in. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so again, let's get those basic rules right. The right hand is always moving. It's counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you're trying to count that and move that. That's hard. Okay, so that's your first step. Then as that gets a little bit easier, perhaps doing it with a drum beat makes it a bit easier, you're then trying to attach the 1, 2 and 3 and 4. Those are the beats that you're actually hitting. So pick up the guitar now if you haven't already, and let's do it together with this drum beat a few times around, okay? And then I'll give you your exercise to practice. So here's the beat. Let's just start by getting that right hand in time with the beat. 1, 2, 3. You see, that's just nice and in time. That down, 2, 3, 4. Then we can start 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And get the chord on. 2, and we're going to start this pattern. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 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 1 and 2 and 3 and a couple more. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Last one. And 2, 3 and 4. Now some of you might prefer to say something like this in your head. 3, 4, like this. Down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. Which you're more than welcome to do as long as that right hand is moving. That's no good if you start going like this. Down, down, up, down. You know, if that hand stops in between that 2 and 4, then it's no good. So the reason I like the count is it reminds you at this early stage. It doesn't mean that forever you're going to have to be counting through it, and it certainly doesn't mean that in a song you'll be counting. Not at all. It just means that you're able to decipher and work out any rhythm pattern because you've learnt it this way. Once you get it into the song, you know, you know, it'll start feeling much more flowing, much more natural. You don't have to be kind of going through it in this way, but learning it like this is crucial so that you can easily then play it in a song, okay? So your task, your homework, shall we say, is to use a drum beat, so 50 BPM I would recommend. Take this strumming pattern and try to use it on both chords. So you're going to do 2 bars or even 4 bars. This is kind of up to you. So I'm going to say, for now, for demonstration, I'm going to do 2 bars of E minor and 2 bars of C major 7, okay? So that means I'm going to count 4 twice on the E minor, and then I'm going to change to that C major 7, okay? So hopefully all that work that you've been putting in, changing the chords, now means that that's a little bit easier, and now we're adding a massive new part to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate it for you a couple of times around, and that will be your task, your aim, okay? So here's that drum beat again. I'm going to get my hand moving, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 to the C major 7, 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Back to E minor. 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now, if you start getting to a position where this happens, something like this. So you're just about keeping up with it, and then you, oh, I'm not at that chord, oh, I've missed the chord. Just get the hand moving. 1, count yourself back in 2, 3, 4, 1. You know, just get yourself back in it gradually, okay? So don't rush it, okay? There's going to be there's a lot going on here. So, you know, you're kind of starting to split that brain into 2, which is a big part of learning the guitar. Your left hand's doing something and your right hand's doing something now, okay? Because we've put a fair bit of work into the left hand so far, we're now starting to let that do its thing. So you don't need to overthink that. You just need to be thinking, right, I'm just going E minor to C major 7, okay? I'm just moving. The same practice I've been doing, okay? You have to try and leave that E minor so that you play that 4th beat. As soon as you played that 4th beat, get yourself over to that C major 7 as quick as you can, okay? Now, obviously, if you miss that first one, don't worry about it, just keep that arm moving and come back in the next bar, okay? So here's an example of how I would do that. 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and I missed it and 3. That right hand's still moving, no, I'm coming in now. 1 and 2 and 3 and back to the E minor, and maybe you can get that one more time, okay? So it's gonna be a massive trial and error process. So you might want to do it a couple of times around without the drum beat, then put the drum beat on and try and do it. Remember, every time you put that beat on, it makes it easier to kind of force that right hand into a rhythm. It also makes it better in terms of practicing the speed of your change, because you put that little bit of pressure on yourself, but in a fun way, of course. You know, in like an enjoyable musical way. So there we have it. Okay, that's your task, okay? And it will take a bit of time. Don't worry, we're going to be developing this a lot more. I'm not expecting it to be perfect by tomorrow. But now, whenever you're doing your movement between the E minor and the C major 7, I want you to try and bring in that strumming pattern. Okay, guys, so thank you so much for watching this video. That's it for today. Please do head on over to the next lesson when you're ready, which you can find here, or you can start from the beginning of the playlist right here on YouTube over here. Also, if you want to leave us a comment, we do our best to answer any questions that you might have, and pop us a like and subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. Every little helps. Thank you so much, guys. Speak to you later.